You don't know Frank.
We're live. We're live. We're live. We're live. Good evening and welcome to Prime Time at the House Judiciary Committee. 8 o'clock on Wednesday, the 5th of March, 2025. We have a voting list before us. We're starting with House Bill 89. 89 is Delegate Embry's bill. We passed this bill last year, if memory serves, and we've got it before us in exactly the same form that we passed it last year. It's a motion for a favorable in a second. Is there discussion about this bill that we all passed last year? In the same posture, with absolutely no changes? I didn't think so. All right, so then I should call the roll, right? I'll get to it. I'm doing it. The Vice Chair.
Yes.
Yes. Valentine.
Yes.
Yes. Crutchfield. Yes. Cardin. Yes. Tomlinson. Yes. Embry. Yes. Pasteur. Yes. Tolles. Oh, we'll come back to her. Schmidt. Yes. Simmons. Yes. Boucher. Yes. Phillips. Yes. For the first time, Stinnett.
Yes.
Yes. You'll regret it forever. Congolo. Yes. Erican. Yes. Taylor. Yes. Simpson. Yes. Grammer. Yes. Sample Hughes. Yes. Moon. Yes. Conaway. Yes. Kaufman. Yes. Williams. All right. I don't have folders, but that's okay. I don't have.
They're behind you.
Oh, are they? Okay, see. It's all fine. We're now going to Delegate Cardin. Ooh. Please, Holly, do not hurt yourself. All right, so we're going to Delegate Cardin on House Bill 260. Did we need to take another look at this, or?
Yeah, we got the amendment.
There is an amendment. Can you say what the amendment does?
The request of the State's Attorneys Association. The amendment is very simple. It puts back in on page 2. It puts back in possession, so that possession is still going to, possession of paraphernalia is still going to be a crime.
Let's do the motion. Can I have a motion on the amendment?
Motion favorable.
Motion for a favorable on the amendment and a second. Now, on the amendment, Delegate Valentine.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Delegate. I do have a question under subsection 5.620 on page 3, but it does remove the possess of for controlled paraphernalia. Is that correct?
No, that's the amendment. The amendment is line 11, sorry, page 3. It removes those brackets, getting rid of possession of.
That means it's
Oh,
taking it
it's
out.
okay.
It's taking out the takeout.
Putting possession,
Taking out the takeout.
putting
of the-
possession back in as criminal, as
So the
criminalized.
only change is to line up the penalties.
Line up the penalties for possession of paraphernalia is the same as possession of the underlying CDS. That's the only thing the bill does now.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any other questions? There's a motion and a second on the amendment. All in favor of the amendment, please raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Anybody opposed? One. All right, the amendment's adopted 19-1. On the bill, as amended, is there a motion?
Favorable.
There's a motion for a favorable and a second. Discussion on the bill is amended, please. Anyone?
Just remind me of, I want to make sure I'm voting on the right thing.
Delegate Phillips.
No,
I'm recognizing you. Delegate Phillips, ask your question.
I just want to make sure I'm voting on the right thing if the maker of the bill.
Justice Reinvestment Act, a number of years ago, we reduced the penalties for possession of, for example, heroin from 4 years down to 1 year. We forgot to reduce the penalties for possession of the paraphernalia that you use for
Got
the
it,
underlying crime. So
Got
this
it.
is just putting everything in line the way it should have been.
got it. I'm good. Thank you.
Delegate Taylor.
Amendment that we just passed took it out. So it's no longer covering that.
Delegate Carden.
No, the amendment just says that you can't distribute paraphernalia or possess paraphernalia, and if you do, you'll have a 1-year crime, a 1-year penalty instead of a 4-year penalty. That's all the bill does. Does that make sense? Did I not say that clearly? I'm sorry.
Yeah, but this is the same paraphernalia that you can buy
At a store.
in a store, or not.
Look, we can talk about Delegate Simpson's bill to decriminalize paraphernalia if you want to, but that's not what this bill does. All this
Okay.
bill does is reduce the penalties for paraphernalia as defined in the statute to the same as the CDS, underlying CDS. That's the only thing the bill does. If you don't like the idea, vote for this bill and then vote for Delegate Simpson's bill to decriminalize it. But that's not what this bill does.
Sorry, Delegate Valentine.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to confirm, we want to make sure that paraphernalia is not a higher penalty than the actual possession of the drug.
Exactly, thank you.
Okay.
See, I wish I could be as articulate as you.
Are there any other questions? Seeing none? The Vice Chair?
Yes.
Yes, Valentine?
Yes.
Yes, Crutchfield? Yes, Carden?
Yes.
Yes, Tomlinson? No. Embry? Yes. Pasteur? Yes. Tolles? Yes. Schmidt? Yes. Simmons? Yes, and an add. Boucher? Yes. Phillips? Yes. Stinnett? Yes. Congolo? 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 Everybody one time. Congolo. Arakan? Okay. Taylor? Yes. Simpson? Yes. Grammer? No. Sample Hughes? Yes. Moon? Yes. Conaway? Yes, and an add. Kaufman?
Yes, and that.
Yes, and an add. Williams?
Yes.
Yes. Bill is adopted with an amendment. Get everybody? Go low. Delegate Crutchfield now has 3 bills in a row, and I'm not sure who allowed this, but, all right, there's a motion for a favorable on 275 and a second on the multifamily adjustment bill. There's a motion and a second for a favorable. Anybody with any questions, any concerns, any thoughts, any? Delegate Tolles.
All 3 at the same, do we have a?
No. I'm just was making light of the fact that I had 3 Delegate Crutchfield bills in a row, and that's all. Yeah, no, we're not doing that. I got one at a time. Any questions? All right. There's a motion and a second. The Vice Chair.
Yes.
Yes, Valentine.
Yes.
Yes, Crutchfield.
Yes.
Yes, Carden. Yes, Tomlinson. Yes, Embry. Yes, Pasteur. Yes, Tolles. Yes, Schmidt. Yes, Simmons. Yes, Boucher. Yes, Phillips. Yes, Congolo. Oh, I missed it because I don't have, there's the new ones. See? Hunter gave these to me. Hunter's listening. Stinnett, yes. Congolo. Arakan. Yes. Taylor. Yes. Simpson.
Absolutely, yes.
Grammer. Yes. Sample Hughes. Yes. Moon. Yes. Conaway. Yes. Kaufman.
Yes.
Yes. Williams.
About time, yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Delegate Stinnett, did I miss you then on the last bill because I had these?
No, you didn't. You called him. You got a bad one.
You got a bad one.
No, you didn't, however, I didn't know that I can, the last one, that I can say yes and act.
Oh. Yeah, we didn't explain that to him.
We're teaching him several years.
Okay.
Claire, is that you? No, 260, that's you. He wants to add on 260.
Is that what he meant?
Yes.
No amendment, you can't add. If there was an amendment on mine, there's no amendment on questions.
Yes. So no, he was talking about 260. Yeah, all right. Here are the old ones.
There we go.
All right, good. Trash. 275, the motion's adopted, and we can move on from something I thought we supported once before. House Bill 533.
Move favorable.
Motion for a favorable in a second. Biggest fan of this bill is the vice chair, a nonstop fan of this bill.
Yep.
533. There's no amendments. We have a motion for a favorable in a second. Are there any questions, any thoughts, any concerns, anything? Seeing none. The vice chair?
Yes.
Yes. Valentine? Yes. Crutchfield?
Yes.
Yes. Cardin?
Yes.
Yes. Tomlinson? Yes. Embry? Yes. Stewart? I'm watching you out of the side of my, it's annoying. Tolles?
Yes.
Yes. Schmidt? Yes. Simmons? Yes. Boucher? Yes. Phillips? Yes. Stinnett? Yes. Congolo? Yes. Erican? Congolo? Erican? Sorry? Okay. Taylor? Yes. Simpson? Yes. Grammer? Yes. Sample Hughes? Yes. Moon? Yes. Conway? Yes. Kaufman? Yes. Williams? Great. 542, Adult Protective Services. Motion for a favorable in a second. Are there any questions, any concerns, any thoughts?
How come Charlotte gets two votes?
Well, okay, I mean, that's not the question, and just, I don't know. I got nothing for you. Are there anything? Don't see anybody with anything. The vice chair?
Yes.
Yes. Valentine?
Yes.
Yes. Crutchfield?
Yes.
Yes. Cardin?
Yes.
Yes. Tomlinson? Yes. Embry? Yes. Pasteur? Yes. Tolles? Yes. Schmidt? Yes. Simmons? Yes. Boucher? Yes. Phillips? Yes. Stinnett? Yes. Congolo? Damn it. Erican? I know. Archon? I say it with a Baltimore accent. Erican. Erican Hahn. Archon. You said yes? Okay. Taylor? Yes. Simpson? Grammar? Yes. Sample Hughes? Yes. Moon? Yes. Conway? Yes. Kaufman? Yes. Williams? Yes. The chair really needs to go to sleep. All right. Oh, God. Okay, now, Delegate Embry's bill, House Bill 623. We have been here before. And there was discussion in the subcommittee that people want to bring to the full committee, and so we're going to do that. And it's going to be great. Delegate Moon, do you have, sorry. Delegate Moon, do you have an amendment? Or do you?
I do.
You do?
I do.
Delegate Moon, would you please describe the amendments? It's, I believe, 933728.
Can you please tell us first what the bill does?
Well, yes. So you will recall this is a bill that Governor Moore vetoed after we passed it without terrible controversy,
Yes.
perhaps unanimously. And it would essentially knock some required publication of estate notices out from the revenue stream of many of our local newspapers, as well as some major publications. But it is the local papers that is a bit of cause for concern for me. And I will say, since we've taken the vote, I've had second thoughts after having talked to some of the affected entities. And so I am interested in at least having a discussion on an amendment that Delegate Cardin had floated to try and push a compromise. And it essentially said, if your estate is entirely going to, say, a family member, and this was all stipulated, that his amendment was trying to chop out some of the transactions where it seemed like, what's the purpose of making there be a newspaper advertisement for this? It's not like you're searching for heirs or there's just the remnants left. So that's what the amendment does. And as Delegate Cardin explained it to me, his math says it knocks maybe half of the impact of the bill out. So it's a little bit of a attempt to reach a compromise. And I'll just say, ordinarily, when the newspaper publications come out to, because I get it, you know, it's in the modern era, many of us feel some of these are antiquated notices and rules, but we generally are very slow to pull the legs out of the revenue from the impacted entities. So that's my small case to at least discuss the amendment. If people don't like it, I've also suggested, I'm not trying to hold things up. I'm happy to just vote no on the bill and withdraw the amendment if people don't want to do it.
Archon, but it's fine. Okay, I appreciate Delegate Moon bringing this amendment again. And I'll just say, we have to decide as a group if our role is to essentially pad the bottom line of private industry in any regard, newspapers, anything. Is that the role? Is that what we're really here to do? You know, I don't see a ton of bills like that or amendments where we're like, well, this one industry might lose. I think what they said over the whole industry was like $3 million. The whole industry. Okay, is this our job? And here's the thing that made me just outright reject this amendment. They have not had a single error found using this method. Not one. They went back, they went to every single office and said, does anybody have an example of this actually bringing an error forward? Zero from any office. One person had been like there for 40 years, not a single time. We are charging families hundreds of dollars when their loved ones die to post an ad in legacy media papers that are not working. And I hear them. I know they do provide an essential public service. I appreciate what the media does. Trust me, I do. They give me a lot of play, and I really love it. But I also don't see my role here as padding their bottom line in an ever-changing environment. This is an ever-changing environment, and I don't know why we're charging families, bereaved families, hundreds of dollars for something that is not working.
Delegate Taylor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have to agree that whenever I look at a local paper and I see all these ads for, like, oh, wow, we still do that? That's crazy. But that's not my question. My question has to do with the amendment and who makes the determination whether we have to put the ad in or not. Is it the Register of Wills or is it an attorney that makes the determination?
Delegate Embry.
Thank you.
And this amendment was drafted under the guidance of Delegate Cardin, but by the registers of wills, because it is workable for them. So they would make the
They
decision,
continue
because
to
they have
make
to
that
send out
decision.
notices to all known heirs. And so when they know the universe, the amendment would, and I just want to say how much I respect how hard this decision is, and I certainly am not happy about reducing the revenue of any newspaper in the state of Maryland. So I really respect that, although also Delegate Erickson, I think, put perfectly and beautifully the arguments for the bill. But to your point, that this is workable, this is something that the Register of Wills, again, they'd prefer the bill as is, but they did say this could work, and it would, as Delegate Moon said, would reduce it by about half. So
May I have a follow-up question? Yes. Would it be something to consider that we do this temporarily and then eventually notify these outlets that, let's say, in 10 years, the state of Maryland is going to stop doing this?
we could delay the
That's a
effective
sun-
date,
that's a
but I don't,
sunset.
A sunset.
Yeah, you're recommending a
but I'd
sunset.
rather not. We could delay the effective date.
Yeah, not a sunset, delayed effective.
I'm finished, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to reinforce that this bill was voted through the House unanimously and voted through the Senate unanimously. And this bill came out of subcommittee, and we voted down this amendment. So the subcommittee, we went to these folks and we said, has this process ever facilitated communication with one of these folks who would have a claim here? And they said no. So what are we debating? What are we debating this for? You know, this is costing across the state, like tens of thousands? Is it hundreds of thousands of dollars to people? Like, I just don't see this amendment is here because we all feel really bad if this bill moves and the papers are gonna, let's just keep it real. We all feel crappy that if this bill passes, they're gonna lose revenue. But as Delegate Oricon said, it's not our job to keep revenue streams in place for zero reason. There's actually zero reason. They told us there's not one case to be made for this. So I respect the maker of the amendments, but respect Delegate Cardin. I think the subcommittee did a great job, but I just think the simple way to deal with this is to not second the amendment.
I not have touched it. All right, sorry. Mr. Chair, so it's very, as someone who has fought tax credits and corporate tax credits and things of that nature, it's a very unusual place for me to be here making this kind of a case. But, you know, it could be that the majority leader brain has infected could be that it's infected my way of thinking. But I just want to point out a few examples. I mean, and here's how some of this played out. I had a bill to kick out a coal mining tax credit that we had in Maryland, or some sort of tax exemption, because it's antiquated and who needs this? And we had like the one remaining coal mining family from Garrett County talking about how this was going to put them out and they couldn't compete with West Virginia miners if we did that. And so we kept them alive for some time, you know, under a scheme like that. And we do the same thing with the film industry, which has been the subject of much discussion. But we have all these, the set designers and whatever, you know, running across the state, and they talk about how the state infusion keeps them alive and competitive with other jurisdictions. These have never been my pet causes, but we have a robust history in the state of doing this for various entities. And in this case, we are talking about newspapers in Frederick, Cumberland, the Shore, and they're just hanging in there. And they're telling us that this is a substantial, one of the larger substantial revenue streams for those outlets. That is the main reason why I'm bringing this here. I don't know how much Montgomery County outlets, you know, we do the Post mostly, Washington Post. So this is really for the smaller counties.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I respect the heck out of that. I got the Dundalk Eagle living rent-free in my phone. I got the Avenue News in Essex. I respect it 100%. I just think on the merits of the bill, we do as the bill as drafted and as we passed said. The governor vetoed it so the opposition could have an opportunity to make their case. They've done so. We voted it out of subcommittee like it was drafted. I appreciate the heck out of the history of these folks in the state, but this is the right thing to do.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In reference to all known heirs, I'd asked the question about unknown heirs, and this came up in my family, and we found the unknown heir through the Afro-American newspaper, which is called the Negro Dispatch. So, thank you.
I have two questions. The first is, does the chair have a recommendation on this amendment? Because sometimes he does. And the second thing, well, sometimes he tells me he has a recommendation, so I wanted to ask. And then secondly, my second question is, I'm trying to avoid, to the majority leader, I'm trying to avoid a Groundhog Day scenario for Delegate Embry, where this is vetoed again. So have you spoken to Mr. Baker and received assurances that if your amendment passes, that he'll sign it?
I have no idea what they're going to do.
Delegate Cardin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First, to respond to Delegate Kaufman, as somebody, by the way, who voted for the amendment, asked for a second on the amendment, and then voted against the bill because the amendment was not passed. Let's just be clear about that in the subcommittee. Yeah. Okay. We've gotten assurances that the governor's not going to take a position on this bill, regardless of how it passes. There was an indication that they may have liked a compromise, but I will not put any words in their mouth because they said they're not vetoing it regardless. I just want to make that clear. Okay. I do not think that anybody should be apologetic about what this amendment is trying to do. We are going from 0 to 60 in 1 year at a time when we can actually, we have made a decision for decades and decades and decades that it's appropriate to publish for people to know what's happening. We are making a decision now, by the way, and I know that some people I think that the vice chair hates the word slippery slope, but this is the number one of the 200 types of publications. This is the one that gives all these people the ability to publish and make their difference and become a viable entity, these publication entities. So if we do this, you can be assured that we're coming back with, that if this goes this direction, 100% now, that they're coming back with all 200 of the other ones, which are relatively small compared to this big one. This is the amendment as drafted, which is doable, states that when notice is published on the website, shall be published on the website for, if they know that the heirs are based on the will that is provided, a spouse, a registered domestic partner, a lineal ancestor, father, mother, a lineal descendant, son, daughter. If they know those are the only heirs, they can publish it there. If they're not sure, then the publications, I think there's good reason to be able to publish out there and make sure that there's an opportunity. As the gentleman from Baltimore County said, they found something out from a publication. From the city, I'm sorry, I apologize, from the city. We'll take them anyway. And then the last thing I'll say is that while I respect and work very closely with Mr. McFarland, who represented the Association of Registers of Wills on this, they're not necessarily going to be perfect. So when they say that 0 numbers or 1 in the last whatever years happened, we don't know if that's true. We already heard from Frank that they are actually, that he found somebody. So I think this is a great compromise. I think this is a way to go. If the Register of Wills wants to come back, you don't think they're coming back next year to talk about other legislation? If they say, look, we have the statistics to show you that this is the way we should go, then we let them try it again next year. In my opinion, and I didn't make I made some of these arguments in the subcommittee, I think this is a smart thoughtful way to go. I've always believed in incremental movement as a way of demonstrating that we are not jumping from 0 to 60 all at once. Not only will we be putting these people out of business, forget about that, we'll be making a major change in state policy in 1 year. So I think that we ought to, I think I would move the amendment.
So I just want to make sure we remember, we're not making it impossible for heirs to find the information. We're literally putting it onto a centralized website. So that that one person that Delegate Conaway mentioned can still find this information. It's just going to be on a website that didn't cost $300. That's all. So we're not deleting the entire concept of alerting people. We're just taking it out of the print. And so people can Google, and then that website will pop up. It will be much better than flipping through pages of a newspaper.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. So do we have a copy of the amendment?
It's in your bag. I can forward it to you.
Okay, could you do that for me? That'd be great. And I'll send it to you. Because neither one of us have it. Okay, so that would be helpful.
Delegate Embry, it's your bill.
Thank you. The only thing I'd note is, just in connection with the tax credit point, this is unlike that in that it's a fee imposed upon individuals versus paid for by taxpayers at a smaller amount, although I take your point generally. Yeah, I struggle with that we would impose, I hate to cut into the revenue of any newspaper, but I struggle with the idea that we would insist that people, our constituents, in that moment have to pay money for something that is not necessary. But I have great respect for the majority leader's view of the full context, and if he believes that this is the way to pass the House, I'm sympathetic to that. So but I obviously support the bill as is, but I understand and respect the decision to move incrementally.
Delegate Crutchfield, who has a visitor. Delegate Crutchfield.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to find out, do we have an idea of what exactly is going to be, I guess, the hit for all of these various media outlets? I mean, what are they going to lose? What are we talking about as far as?
The number of registers, which I think is more accurate because it pertains just to this notice, whereas I think the newspapers may be lumping together other sort of probate generally. So that's 1.3 million.
Okay.
Per year.
And do we know how much of that is from the smaller media outlets? I mean, look, Washington Post, we know that's very expensive. I mean, but what about the smaller?
I don't know all of them. I could ask, but I know that one of the smaller outlets was 60,000. I think the gentleman who came in and testified, I asked specifically, and that was 60,000. I don't know their total budget, but
right, and that's probably a big chunk.
I suspect it's a big chunk.
Yeah.
Who knows if we're talking about being perfectly corrupt? But the Baltimore Times, Washington Jewish Week said that this could put them out of business. This is a very important revenue stream for them. Okay. I'm not telling you that, I'm just saying what they said. Mm-hmm. You can believe it.
Right, okay. Yeah, and this is one more question, Mr. Chair. So, and this is really coming from the Register of Wills. This legislation is what they all, I mean, I'm looking at the testimony, is mostly favorable from them, correct, or?
So if I may.
Delegate Embry.
So yes, but the bar section also is had strong views. AARP supported it last year and through the veto debate. So, but they did not show up this year. But yes, it was, the concept came from the.
Okay, and for the Register of Wills, what's the real, I mean, is it just simply, we want to simplify it, we want to just eliminate it, it doesn't make any sense?
I think it offends them from a policy perspective that we're making people pay the money. They also, and they testified about this, it's frustrating because they are sometimes expected to collect the money, which they don't enjoy. They have to do copy editing when it's wrong. So there is an administrative burden for them, although that's obviously a much smaller reason, but conceptually, that's why they created the website, because they're like, we don't need to be charging people and we can do it more accurately.
Okay, thank you.
Delegate Pastor.
Well, I really, when the bill was presented, I really didn't think about this because I actually was thinking about the larger papers, actually. But Delegate Taylor just reminded me that for some papers, very small ones like the Afro-American, that's very important to what they do. And not only just for their revenue, it has become a cultural thing. That's where folks, African Americans, tend to look. And I recognize that in this big scheme, that might seem small and even unimportant, but it is a place that folks look and a place that folks go to put their ads. I don't know that they would just trust the Register of Wills, just in that they go to the paper. So I would have to give real thought because that is a big piece for them.
Sorry, Delegate Taylor, then Conway.
I understand that I get one hold. May I hold this? For the next vote list, if we have an opportunity. Thank you. Thank you.
That's fine. Every once in a while, there are these issues that do in fact impact lots and lots of people. And, it is not bad for us to have these kind of conversations, and it's not bad for us to be candid with each other and bring this kind of stuff out. So to Delegate Kaufman's question, I'm sitting here quietly because I've actually quietly enjoyed this, and I think it's helpful for us to do this once in a while. But no more tonight. So let's move on, and we will come back to this tomorrow. And Delegate Conway, you're going to be the first to speak on this tomorrow. We're going to Delegate Bartlett. Delegate Bartlett has a bill in House Bill 675. And there's a motion for, wait a minute, there's an amendment.
Yes, there is an amendment.
There's an amendment. Can you say what the amendment does?
Sure, I'll give the beginning, and if Claire could give the full, I'll just say that I've met with the stakeholders. We have come to, as close as we're gonna come to a compromise. So what the amendment does is, Claire put her magic on it and made it clearer and more concise, as Claire does. And she also was able to rectify a couple of things. One thing that the amendment does is it changes the date in which the backlog of tests have to be entered by law enforcement, and that date was going to interfere with the September 2025 requirement, so we just extended it to March of 2026. The other change is we wanted, law enforcement wanted the grants to be on a multi-year basis, and so we extended that to 36 months, and that actually allows it not just for law enforcement. They're the ones who asked for it, but it applies to the Office of the Attorney General, MCASA, and law enforcement. I say MCASA because MCASA is what's listed in there, not by name, but they are the federally recognized sexual assault coalition. So but we all know, we all know them as MCASA, but that's who's referenced in the bill. And there's probably some more changes I can't remember, so Claire, if you could help me. Thanks. You got it.
Those are all the substantive changes that the amendments make. Everything else is just technical and clarifying.
Anyone with questions on the amendments?
Not on the amendment.
Okay. I don't see any. All in favor of the amendments, raise your hands. Anybody opposed? Seeing none, the amendments are adopted. Now on the bill, is there a motion? Is motion for a favorable, is there a second? Yep, okay. And there's a question, Delegate Valentine.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to double check about the funding mechanism, and is this new money that's going to be required, or is this just a transfer of funding that's already in place?
So this is money that is already in place, sorry. We have already established this fund, this sexual assault evidence kit testing fund. And all we're doing is altering the purpose and the use of. So the money is already allocated, 3.5 million, and that happens annually. And one thing that we're doing with the bill is we're making sure that we utilize the money in the fund for the backlog because of any fear of not receiving federal dollars. We want to still be able to test the kits and to be able to do the advocacy work and do everything that's listed in the bill. So the money is already allocated. I'm gonna look at the fiscal note just to make sure I didn't lie about anything, but mistake, I'm sorry, mistake. But yeah, so the fund is already appropriated. There we go. It's already appropriated in the state budget. I'm on page 2, second from the last paragraph.
Okay?
It's right in this
Any other
paragraph.
questions?
I think it's right.
On the bill as amended for favorable, the vice chair?
Yes.
Yes. Valentine?
Yes.
Yes. Crutchfield?
Yes.
Yes. Carden?
Yes.
Yes. Tomlinson? Yes. Embry? Yes. Pasteur? Yes. Tolles? Is not there. Schmidt? Yes. Simmons? Yes, and an add. Boucher? Yes. Phillips? Yes. Stinnett? Yes, and oh, look at that. Yes, and an add. He catches on. Congolo? Yes. Arakan? Yes, and an add. Taylor? Yes. Simpson?
Yes, and Eric.
Yes, and an Arakan. Grammer? Yes. Sample Hughes? Yes. Moon? Yes. Conaway? Yes, and an add. Kaufman? Yes, and an add. Williams?
Yes, and an add.
Yes, and an add. Anybody from Valentine, Crutchfield, Carden, Tomlinson want to add? Add Crutchfield, add Carden, Tomlinson, Embry, Pasteur, Tolles. Any adds? Seeing none, I marked them.
Oh, Pasteur, you get Pasteur?
Pasteur is an add too. Yeah. And Phillips.
Yes. No, no, no. That's not true. That's not true. No, everyone's not on the bill.
Everyone's not on the bill.
No.
All right, so that motion, does Tomlinson want it or not? Yes.
Okay. Claire's like, make it.
All right. Now, remember how I said I wasn't going to have, jump balls or anything like that very often? Well, here's House Bill 775. And there was some discussion among the subcommittee chairs about this bill, and people don't feel incredibly strongly one way or the other.
Oh, wait, it's not on there. It's not on here.
It's not?
No, not on the new one.
Well, I've got it right here. Are we going to try it tomorrow?
Yeah, the last two. Otto and who else do you have?
I have Otto, Taylor, and Edelson.
Yeah, we took Otto off.
We took Otto off?
But it came back on.
I thought it came back on too, but we'll do it tomorrow, and you can look forward. It's all right. You can look forward to House Bill 775 with, I think, Delegate Sample Hughes' district mate, sort of. Neighbor. The adjacent, yeah, got it. Okay, well, sorry. I got something else wrong. 775, and we'll see what happens. It'll be exciting or something. House Bill 814 has a questionable sponsor.
Move favor.
Motion for a, oh, hi.
Second.
There's a motion for a favorable and a second. Are there any questions or concerns or thoughts about House Bill 814? Seeing none, the Vice Chair?
Yes.
Valentine? Yes. Crutchfield? Yes. Carden? Yes. Tomlinson? Yes. Embry? Yes. Pasteur? Yes. Tolles? She went to church. Schmidt? Yes. Simmons? Yes. Boucher? Yes. Phillips? Yes. Stinnett? Yes. Congolo? Yes. I'm gonna get it right. So Erican? Yes. Taylor? Yes. Simpson? Yes. Grammer? Yes. Sample Hughes? Yes. Moon? Yes. Conaway? Yes. Kaufman?
Yes.
And Williams. Tolls on House Bill 814, a bill about a report on youth service bureaus. Yes. Ooh, yes, and a ring.
She finally got her act.
Motion is adopted. House Bill 1442.
Move favorable.
Motion for a favorable. Is there a second?
Second.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello, I got you.
This is the last one.
This is the last one. Bill was passed by the Baltimore City delegation.
Move favorable.
Pretty sure it was passed by the Baltimore City delegation. And it's specific to Baltimore City, if memory serves. Did he? Yes. It only applies in the 8th Judicial Circuit of Baltimore City. There's a motion and a second. Any conversation other than the ones we're having anyway? All right, the vice chair. Yes. Valentine. Yes. Crutchfield. Yes.
Baltimore City, right?
Only Baltimore City, yes. Cardin, yes. Tomlinson?
Is this Eagleson?
Yes. Yes. Embry? Yes. Pasteur? Yes. Tolles? Yes. Schmidt? Yes. Simmons? Yes. Boucher? Yes. Phillips? Yes. Stinnett? Yes. Congolo? Yes. Erican? Yes. Taylor? Yes. Simpson? Yes. Grammer? Yes. Sample Hughes? Yes. Moon? Yes. Conaway? Yes. Kaufman? Yes. Williams?
Yes.
Thank you. We have bill hearings tomorrow with only 29 witnesses tomorrow. However, we have a hard stop. I'm giving you a hard stop tomorrow at no later than 4:30, and I'm aiming for 4. The viewing for the Speaker's Son begins at 5 in Randallstown and will go to 8 o'clock. For those of us who are veterans of the drive from Baltimore and Annapolis and back, it can be quite something. So just be aware that that's happening there. If bill hearings, if what is possible, the floor goes long, and then the bill hearings are going to take precedence, and then we'll go to voting. But at this point, that's when our hard stop is. This has been the House Judiciary Committee. Have a good evening.
Okay, so I just want, hi, everybody. Okay, I just want everybody to know that the flowers will be delivered tomorrow at the funeral home. So they are from the committee. We got it all taken care of. And how do we do payment? Either any form of payment other than
money order.
Apple,
He wants it on the app.